What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope you guys are doing well out there on this beautiful sunny Friday. I'm doing real good myself. Shout out to Annette for sending me this particular story right here. It reminded me of this sister right here named Cariol Horn back in 2006. Well, first let me tell you guys that Cariol Horn is an ex-police officer, all right? And she was fired because back in 2006, her partner, which was a white police officer, did a very, very cowardly thing to a brother that he had handcuffed. As a matter of fact, that police officer choked this brother while he already had him, subdued or what have you. And Cariol Horn, this sister right here, actually stopped him from doing so. She was fired because of that back in 2006, And ever since then, she's been fighting, to get her pension and everything. And this is what this particular 4-minute and 4-second video is, entailing. So let's check it out, and then we'll get into the commentary.
In your top four at 4:30, nationwide protests over police brutality are putting new scrutiny on the role of officers who witness fellow officers using brutal or unnecessary force on suspects. Former Buffalo, New York police officer Cariol Horn was fired in 2008 after she says she stopped an officer's chokehold on a suspect in handcuffs. And now the Buffalo City Council is asking the New York State Attorney General to investigate Horn's firing. Jerika Duncan spoke with Horn.
Looking at the video, it was very upsetting. And I felt that if one of those officers had stepped in, that he would be alive today.
Cariol Horn, a nearly 20-year veteran of the Buffalo Police Department, says the image of George Floyd dying at the hands of police is triggering. In 2006, then Officer Horn made headlines after intervening when she says fellow officer Greg Kwiatkowski was choking a black suspect, Neil Mack.
I couldn't breathe.
What was it that day that made you jump in?
Neil Mack looked like he was about to die. So had I not stepped in, he possibly could have. He was handcuffed and being choked.
The Buffalo Police Department brought disciplinary charges against Horn and fired her in 2008, a few months before she was eligible to receive a full pension. Greg Kwiatkowski sued Horn and her lawyer for defamation. In 2011, a judge found that 8 statements Horn's lawyer made were defamatory and false, including the claim that Horn saved the life of a suspect who was already in handcuffs and was being choked out by Officer Greg Kwiatkowski. Neil Mack, the suspect at the center of the nearly 14-year-old case, maintains to this day that Cariol Horn saved his life.
He was choking me. I was handcuffed. Cariol Horn said, "You killing him, Greg," and she reached over and tried to grab his hand around my neck.
In 2012, in a lawsuit brought by Mack, a jury found no wrongdoing by the Buffalo police officers involved in his arrest. As for Greg Kwiatkowski, he was sentenced to 4 months in federal prison in 2018 for using unlawful and unreasonable force against 4 black teenagers.
Unlawful, unnecessary force. The same thing that I said he did.
Horn says she's turned her pain into activism. When she saw the recent video of Buffalo police pushing a 75-year-old protester to the ground, she says it was yet another trigger.
So now if they can push the 75-year-old white man when it's still daylight out, just think of what they do to our young black kids at nighttime.
Horn says these days she's at peace because she stands by what she did. Still, she broke down when I asked her how this has impacted her children.
It's important for me to be truthful because this has been a lot of years. So when you talk about where did the raw emotion come from, it's because I have fought all of these years and tried to keep it together for my children.
Horn is fighting for her full pension, and she's pushing legislation called Cariol's Law. She says it would protect police who intervene from being retaliated against. As for the Buffalo Police Department, they issued this statement to CBS News saying In 2006, Officer Horn requested that her case be reviewed by an independent arbitrator. The arbitrator recommended termination after lengthy hearings, and the police commissioner followed that recommendation. Former Buffalo Lieutenant Greg Kwiatkowski could not be reached. As for his former lawyers, they did not respond to our requests for comment. Jerika Duncan, CBS News, New York.
Major shout out to this sister Cariol Horn for what she did saving that brother's life on that day. If it's anybody that's deserving of making the history books, it is you, my sister. Congratulations for staying the fight, because a lot of people would have given up, and chose to do something else. And I hope that you get that Cariol law going too, because as we've been seeing here in this country for a long time now, there's a lot of corrupt ass police officers on the force, racist corrupt police officers on the force. You know what I mean? That's doing a lot of heinous crimes in broad daylight in front of, for the whole world to see. That's what it all boils down to. And we definitely need a law like this, because here's the deal. If these things continue to happen, what you're going to get is a lot of people not respecting the badge and the gun that comes with it. And they're going to start taking it to your asses because you're playing both sides of the fence. On one side, you claim to uphold the law and go and ruffle down the criminals and what have you, you know what I'm saying? Which that's what you serve and protect or whatever. That's what you're supposed to do. On the other side, you're fucking criminals wearing badges yourselves. You're doing a lot of little evil things, Just like this, Kimberly Potter, the bullshit she just pulled last Sunday and murdered a young brother, talking about taser, when all the time she knew fucking well she was holding her Glock 40 or whatever they, carry, and shot that young man. It was uncalled for. And then, not to mention what happened to, they mentioned in this article right here, this story, the video, about what happened to Eric Garner, George Floyd, a host of others. Also, I saw a video just yesterday. 13-year-old Latino boy running from the police. He got tired and stopped running. The cop told him to turn around and let me see your hands. The boy did just that. Raised his hands, and guess what the fucking cop did? Shot him dead. Right there on video. For what? Why? I tell you why, because you're an evil, low-life piece of shit that needs to be abolished, incinerated from this earth. That's the reason why. Okay? Enough said on that, but let's get into this article. It says here, a former officer who stopped fellow cops' chokehold, one suspect will get pension after winning lawsuit. Hooray for that sister right there. Okay? A former Buffalo police officer who says she was fired for intervening with a white officer attempted to choke a black suspect will receive her pension after winning a lawsuit on Tuesday. The New York State Supreme Court vacated a previous ruling upholding the firing of Cariol Horn, CBS Buffalo affiliate WIVB-TV reports. In his ruling, Judge Dennis Ward wrote that the city of Buffalo has recognized the error and has acknowledged the need to undo an injustice from the past. The legal system can, at the very least, be the mechanism to help justice prevail, even if blatantly. All right. While the Eric Garner and George Floyd of the world never had a chance for a do-over, at least here the correction can be done. Ward wrote. Horn gained national attention in 2006 when she said she stopped Officer Greg Kowalski, whatever his weird ass name is, chokehold on Neil Mack. Now, see, these are the kind of officers right here that we need. Don't turn a blind eye from what your fellow officer is doing if he's doing a criminal act. Just look how those other four with George Floyd sit there and watch that little merc rat face motherfucker, Derek Chauvin, just stay on that man's neck and just suffocate him, kill him. And they got a trial about the shit. A trial? What do they need a fucking trial for? We seen right there the motherfucker guilty. Put his ass to death. It was calculated. It wasn't even an accident. Put his ass to death. But I digress. Let's continue. Neil Mack looked like he was about to die. Horn told CBS this morning in an interview in 2020. So, had I not stepped in, he possibly could have. He was handcuffed and being choked. She was ultimately fired in 2008, mere months before she was eligible to receive her full pension. Kowalski, whatever his name is, sued Horn and her lawyer for defamation. In 2011, a judge found that Horn's lawyer made 8 statements that were considered defamatory and false, including the claim that Horn saved the life of a suspect who was already in handcuffs and was being choked out by Officer Greg Kowalski. But Mack maintains that Horn saved his life. And she did, because more than likely, if she hadn't stepped in, if she hadn't intervened, that man wouldn't be here to even say what he said. He wouldn't be here to tell the story. Okay? That's just what it is. You see, a lot of these cowardly ass police officers, they out here with the badge to exercise their racism and hatred for blacks, Latinos, and Asians or whoever. You very seldom, I'm saying it does happen, but it's very seldom do you ever hear them killing people of their own color. You hear more about people of their own color killing their ass. You see what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But to continue, he was choking me. I was handcuffed. Cariol Horn said, "You killing him, Greg." And she reached over and tried to grab his hand around my neck. Mack told CBS this morning last year. Mack sued 5 officers involved in his arrest in 2012. A jury found no wrongdoing in a ruling of 5-1. The jurors who sided with Mack was the only black person on the jury, reports the Buffalo News. I'm not surprised with that, I'm not surprised. That's the way they set shit up. But look, this bullshit, all this injustice and all these things they're doing is coming to an end. And they know it. This is the reason why the heathen is raging. You understand? This is why they continually do all this crazy shit that you're hearing them do now. The meddling folks and all of that kind of shit. It's coming to an end. And they can feel it in their fucking murky ass, opaque ass soul. Okay? Now, in conclusion here, it says in 2018, Kowalski was sentenced to 4 months in prison, federal prison, for 2009 incident in which he used unlawful and unreasonable force against 4 black teenagers, including slamming their heads into a car. Ward said knowledge was not made available during the original determination in this case by both the hearing officers and this court. Likewise, the current suicidal view toward the use of chokeholds and physical force in effecting arrest, along with the city of Buffalo's expression of specific disapproval of such force by legislative enactment has altered the landscape, Ward added. Horn is eligible for back pay and benefits through August 4th, 2010. All right. Well, that's so good for her. But this Kyle Toski and all the rest of the low-life so-called officers that think like him, to hell with you. To hell with you. You don't need to be on the streets. You need to be behind bars. You understand? You're nothing but fucking low-life cowards. You know, you want to get a person handcuffed or somebody that's actually cooperating with you, complying, whatever you want to call it, submitting, and then you want to beat on them. That shit bullies do. Cowardly bullies at that, you know? No, this shit gonna come to an end, man. It's coming to an end. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this story. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts, your views, and opinions on it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched. Simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.